You only can access that in this realm, on this realm, while you're alive. And it's crazy because some people do see your potentiality, and you take things so personal sometimes when people, you take it so personal when you think that you have no purpose. You think you're not hip or in demand or any of these silly ideas. Can you imagine if some of the things that you walk around, some of the people that you see when you walk around or you've known in life, people that may not play a big role in your life, right? You kind of take them for granted. If they just stop doing what they do, the one that makes occasional jokes that makes you laugh and get by, stop joking. That person that's selling, I don't know, samosas or hotcakes or something, stop selling them. If that particular woman that got that nice sense of style, stop wearing those beautiful sights to see. These all add to your life, and we forget that. And we can sometimes lose great sight of the roles that we play without it being, because it's not acknowledged. Acknowledge it for yourself. All the things that you bring to this world. Acknowledge it for yourself. You're worthy of sharing it with the world. Period. On the basis that you exist. You are a survivor of your own death threats. Can't nobody else penetrate you beyond that. Once you make sense to yourself, once you realize, maybe I do have something to share after all. And the other thing that gets me is that, in particular for people who are melanated, as they say, melanin dominant. Not that not everybody experiences, but for this particular one, people of color tend to think that you don't have these thoughts, or if you do, you best snap out of it. What's wrong with you? Because they're thinking in the mindset of survival. You're supposed to help me survive, so don't you be thinking that. But it happens. These thoughts happen. These things, these feelings occur, and in this day and age, it is a curious thing because you wonder if it's more external than it is internal. I think it's a mix of both. But at this time, I really do think that a lot of it is genuinely internal. And the fact that it is becoming more prominent is a signal, it's something to talk about. It's something to look at in terms of what is leading to that. And amongst what I was going to say amongst melanated people is that you think that you think you're alone. You think that nobody else has contemplated that. And I hate when people try to act like they haven't, or try to act like people don't feel like that. But it amazes me that some of the greatest people have attempted. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, the one who wrote We Were Here Before Columbus, and also I think it was early African presence in Early India, I think is what it was. I haven't read that book, but I would love to. I still haven't finished the We Were Here Before Columbus, but I will at some point. But just I remember certain details that this man went into to explain of an African black presence around the world. And the fact that he attempted suicide by drinking, I think, snake poison. And he did it because you can't imagine. It's like, it's insane. Some of those brilliant people. He did it because he thought blackness was inferior. He internalized that type of self-hate. He thought it was nothing that blackness can offer the world. This brilliant man, this giant, thought that about himself at one point. And then come to find out, he made one of the most fundamental books for understanding African or black presence around the world. Monumental, pivotal work when it comes to history and archaeology. Another example that comes to mind is one of my favorite artists, inspirational artists, Mrs. Georgia Ann Muldrow. I don't know her story in terms of how, but I know she makes references to it very frequently about having attempted suicide. Like in that song, for the fans who know, Nothingness. What's she say? Already attempted suicide, so that now that idea is played, and so I know there's nothing to lose now. What I'ma do now? I forgot what she said after that. She's like, check in with my mood and seeing if things really that hectic. This woman, I mean, if you're a music file, if you're a music head, and you dig into the crates of like all her creations, the intentionality she puts into her words, the long legacy of jazz and black music that runs through her veins and you could see in the figurative veins in her artistry, you're like, this person could have not been on this earth anymore. Same thing with Richard Pryor. I don't remember his story deeply, and I need to read his story, but I know that he was on the drugs, But yeah, he did attempt suicide, I believe, through drug overdose. And this man is considered by most people the greatest of all times in terms of comedy. Do you see the trend here? I'm telling you, man, people who feel so deeply, it can be a so-called curse and a blessing, but what I'm saying is utilize that feeling to understand that you create out of it in the same way Dr. Ivan Van Sertima did, in the same way that Georgia Ann Muldrow does and has done, in the same way Richard Pryor has done, and many other people that we may know personally. To think that people can brainwash us or try to convince us to shut down our own potentiality by removing ourselves from this realm. It's one that makes you sad initially, but angry afterward when you realize How dare you? Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Mm-mm. Some of the greatest people, I'm telling you. Hello, butterfly. Beautiful butterfly. Oh my gosh. Butterflies, wow, represent transformation. Whew, that's an omen like a mug. Butterflies are a beautiful omen and representation and totem of transformation. Metamorphosis. What emerges after the metamorphosis. I like that. So, I think I'm going to end it on that note. Utilize the way that you feel to understand it's a lonely place where you're at, because nobody has been on that path that you are on. Nobody. You are an unconventional, high value person. Nobody has walked or seen life as you do. There's just going to be aspects where people can't relate to it. And that's going to be a superpower. That's going to be the unconventional strength that you have. See, when people talk to me, ask me about, people use the terms, what's your strengths and weaknesses? I don't believe in strength and weaknesses. I believe in conventional strengths and unconventional strengths. That's my belief. Unconventional strengths are not going to be for everybody. It's not going to be it's not going to work for everybody. Not a lot of people can work with it, but they're rare. Those unconventional strengths, and they're going to serve something. And because they're rare, they're going to be very coveted and highly valued. So recognize all of those unconventional strengths within you. Acknowledge the conventional strengths, the ones that help you relate to the world, because we're coexisting with other people. But don't beat yourself up because you have more unconventional strengths than you do conventional strengths at all. Don't beat yourself up for that. Just adjust your mind to recognize that's what it is. Beautiful human being. Our potentiality is dope. And that's why it's like when I see humans that I don't know, or if I was to make a video, I don't say, oh, I love you. I say, I love your potentiality. It makes me excited. Accept yourself. Accept everything about you. Recognize what you need to let go to evolve, but accept those unconventional strengths that has helped you get along this far. It's a blessing to the world. That's all I wanted to say, but I had to get that off my chest because I had been getting a lot of signs to share myself more. So that is what I'm sharing with you. Peace, y'all.